They are not different maps. They are on the same map. It's just that we have two maps here. The map now and the map that will be constructed or will be transformed in the future. All right? So that's it. Number 3, this one is pretty interesting because actually there are a lot of things you can write down here. For number 3, what are the most noticeable differences? First, of course, we always compare, right, the map now and the map in the future. So, first noticeable difference is the changing of factories to housing constructions or housing areas, okay, or housing establishments. So you can also call them housing areas, housing constructions, or housing establishments. So these are other terms for it. So that's first major noticeable difference, because if you notice, it's really placed here, the factory and then housing. Number 2, another noticeable is when you look at it, there is another circular road here. What do you think is the name of that road? Is it only a circle road, or do we just call it a circle road? It is a, who mentioned something about round? Aha, it is a roundabout, okay? Just one word. Do not separate them, just one word, roundabout. The other term is these terms next time. So please do not just say like 2 circle roads. Of course they are circle, and that is the purpose of a roundabout. It has to be round, it has to be circle, okay? Otherwise, it is no longer a roundabout if it is, let's say, triangular or in square. Okay, that is no longer a roundabout. It will have another name. But again, as you can see, there will be a smaller rotunda or roundabout that will be built, that will be constructed in the planned future development. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, a bridge. Okay, a bridge will be constructed across the river. Correct? This one. This one doesn't mean that the river will be cut into 2, because that's not even possible. All right, if you cut this, where will the other, the water will flow? So it will be here. Of course, that's not very appealing. So we say that this one here is only a demonstration that a bridge will be constructed across the river, or to connect the other side of the Norbiton area to the main area. This is the other side, this is the main area. Am I right? Again, this is the main area because there are a lot of establishments are here, and also major facilities. This one you only have, let's say, a block of housing establishments and the farmland. Okay, so the third noticeable difference is that a bridge will be constructed across the river to connect to the other side of the Norbiton area to the north. Okay, the northern part of the Norbiton area. This is north, this is south, this is west, this is east. Okay, we rely on this. Okay? Now, number 4. Aside from the rotunda, the bridge, and the changing of factories to housing establishments, another noticeable difference is the additional facilities. Okay, we call them as facilities. Okay, facilities. Facilities are like additional features of a particular area. In this case, the other facilities include the playground, a school, a medical center or a hospital. You may call this one as a hospital, and again, shops. Okay, it could be a shopping mall, but we don't know, so please do not use a term like shopping mall, because we're not very sure if it's a mall. Okay, just use the term shops or stores. If you don't like to use shops, you may use stores. Okay, now that's number 4. Number 5. Okay, number 5. Other roads will have expansion. Okay, will have expansion. What is meant by the word expansion? Like instead of just having this, it will be expounded to its bigger part. But this time, I'm talking about the roads that will have expansion, like this one here. Okay? The rotunda, the bigger rotunda, will have two expansions. One to the north, connecting to the bridge, and the other one to the northwestern. Am I right? This is northwest, so the northwestern part of the planned future development in Norbiton. So again, that's road expansions. I think only this one, this and this are the road expansions. Okay? Was it number 4? Number 5? Number 5, right? Number 6. Number 6. Okay, another noticeable difference. If you notice, the farmland here is different from the farmland at present. Okay, the farmland at present, now during the Norbiton area now, the farmland now takes up most of the area across the river. Okay, across the river, like this one here. Okay, farmland takes all of the area here. Again, I am using takes because again, this is something in the present. So it's the present tense. Now, in the future, the farmland area will only take a portion. Okay? A portion. Now, I use the term portion because we're not sure as to the exact number of, let's say, square meters. Are you familiar with this one? For those with, with lands, square meters, for those who have lands. If you are familiar with, let's say, properties and like land properties, for example, you would come across square meters, okay? Now, we're not very sure as to how much or as to how many square meters will the farmland have in the future development. So we always use the term portion. Unless, if there is a mention here, let's say, 55%. Just an example, 55%. And you can say that farmland will take only 55% of the area across the river. But since there is no mention of any 55%, so you cannot write that down there. Instead, you have to use the term a portion. You cannot also use, class, the term like, let's say for example, half. No, half of the Norbiton area across the river. You cannot also use that because we don't have any any proof that this is again half of the area. So we can only use the term a portion of it. Okay, again, number 6. A portion, the farmland will take a portion of the area across the river. Because, if you notice, this one will be a housing facility. And this one is like, maybe they will keep this one vacant or empty. We're not very sure. We can only say that this can be vacant because there is no other term for that. Okay, we only have this. This one, the farmland. That is number 6. Do we still have number 7? Yeah, there is not. So we only have 6 noticeable differences. Okay, were you able to write down 6 noticeable differences there? Or you only wrote, let's say, 1 or 2? Maybe 1 or 2, right? Okay, number 4 is going to be about what's the same in both maps. So number 1, the town area will not be touched, of course, because maybe it's not anymore part of the Norbiton industrial area, so it will not be touched even for the planned future development. Number 2, the river will still be there. Okay? Again, the river will still be there. Number 3, the bigger roundabout or rotunda will not also be touched or changed. Okay, again, the bigger. I'm not talking about this, just the bigger rotunda. Okay? The main road will still be there. This is the main road. the main road will also be there. Okay, what else? I think yeah, so far those are the similarities. Now to answer number 5, can the maps be easily broken into two parts? Is of course it is a resounding yes. Your third paragraph then, you have to write down everything about Norbiton area now. So you have to describe what can you find at the present Norbiton area. And then in the fourth paragraph of your report, you will be writing everything about the planned future development. Can you begin with future and then present? Is it possible? Yes or no? No, it is not. And it will also look very messy. When you start writing, it will be very messy, I tell you. So always begin with the present and then the future. Is that clear? Alright, let me check the time. Okay. Now let's proceed to the process diagram. This time, again, your other partner will have to share to the class any discussions you've made. Okay? Now, for the the process diagram, the same questions are there. Okay, but I will not use this one for now. Let me use my where's my PowerPoint? Yeah, this one, my PowerPoint. Okay, for a while. I'll just discuss this one very briefly. Yes, this one. Of course, it's not the same from the one you're holding. Okay, so this is process diagram analysis example. So again, we have to do the discussion first, general discussion, then you can begin with your partners. Okay. Now there are 6 questions here that you have to answer before writing down the content of this process. The first one is, where is the start of the process? What do you think? Where is the start of the process? So, yeah, what is the name of the stage? Yes? What is the name of the process? I mean, what is the name of the stage where, I'm sorry, the start of the process signify? The? Yeah, of course, cement production, but which part of cement production is the start of the process? Anyone? Yes? Yeah, well, what do you call that process? I mean, which stage does it belong? Crusher. Okay, so the crusher stage is the start of the process. Of course, in the crusher, we have to crush limestone and clay together. Alright, so that's the crusher. And how about the end of the process? So if the crusher is the start or the beginning, how about the end of the process? The what? This one? The concrete mixer. Yes, that is the end of the process. Okay, I will discuss to you later why. Now, how about number 2? How many total stages are in there? Just no, not the categories. This is a category. First category, you have cement production, and the second category is the concrete production. Okay, so we have 2 categories. But about the stages, so you have number 1, of course, the crusher is the first stage. Second stage, mixer. Third stage, rotating heater. Fourth, grinder. Fifth, bagging or packaging. And the last stage is concrete mixer. So basically from this one, we only have 1 stage. Okay? That's it. So how many stages are there? 6. We have 6 stages. Alright. Now, this one. What kind of process is it? A cycle or a linear? What do you think? Can you make a guess? Why is it a linear? Yeah, why is it a linear process? Aha, okay, so we have, okay, clearly we can see here that this is the beginning or the start, and there is also a clear end, which is this one. Now, what will make this a cycle? If the last stage will go back to the first stage, like what you have there, this one. This is a cycle, all right? Because the process will repeat itself, okay? Like instead of ending at number 9, for example here at number 9, it will go back to number 1. Because again, after using, let's say, recyclable products, for example, this one, imagine this is a recycled bottle. Okay, of course, it's not recycled, but imagine this is a recycled bottle. After consuming what's inside of this, maybe a soda or whatever is that in there, okay, after consuming, what do I do with this? I throw this one again, and so the process will continue. Do you keep what? Do you keep like bottles at home? What? Do you display them on your cabinets? Of course we do. Of course you don't. We do not. We not do that. Like when you buy a cup of coffee from GS or CU, that cup of coffee, do you keep that? No. By the way, those are recycled cups. Because again, companies need to be environmentally friendly. Okay? So those are recycled. So after consuming the coffee inside it, we throw them again. And so the process will continue. It's a never-ending cycle. But this one is not a cycle because this is the start and there's also the ending part. And that's it. And by the way, although we know that this will be used to, let's say, construct buildings, like I believe this one, this Peace Tower, Peace Mall building, use concrete mixer. Otherwise, if it shakes like a very low intensity of earthquake, it will automatically crumble. But I believe that building use concrete mixer. And also when we construct roads, build roads, this one is also being used. Am I right? Okay, class, have you seen that truck? Yeah. The truck where at the back of it there is like a moving, in a circular motion, mixer. Have you seen one? Yeah. Yes. Okay, that is an example of this one. It will be placed there at the back of that truck for public use. Anyway, so this is the ending part. It's very clear, but we don't know where will it be used. By the way, do not write. Okay, after this, it will then be used to build roads. You cannot use, although we know that it will be used for that purpose. But can you find any information here that says that the end product will be used to build roads? There is none, right? So do not, again, that is why I am always telling you not to use any information that you know about something if it's not found here. So really the end of the process is this one. Okay? That's it. And again, it is a linear process. Number 4, this one is a bit, tasky. It is very tasky. Why? Because you need to describe each of them. And imagine, later on, you need to describe 9 stages. That is why a lot of students, when I ask them, what do they prefer? Let's say they will do the exam now. What do they prefer? A line chart, a map, or a process? They will always say the line chart because this is the easiest, I tell you. The process is never easy, I tell you. That's why pray that you will not get this kind of task during your actual exam. During my second exam, I had the process. The first exam way back in 2019, I got the bar graph. The second was the process. I was very nervous, during that time when I had the process. I really don't like describing processes. I just don't like them. And the third one, that was last 2024, last year. Mine was a combination of a pie chart, table chart, and a bar graph. So 3 graphs. But that's okay for me because I just love numbers. and I can, I can sustain that. But process, nuh-uh. I have to pray to heavens that like to Buddha that I will not be given these things. Anyway, I'm just giving you, what is it? An experience, okay, a sharing of experience. Anyway, now you have to describe them. In the process diagram, we have the crusher as the first stage, right? But class, for example, you would say, in the crusher stage, okay, in the crusher stage, limestone and clay are, that's the thing. You cannot use the same word for the verb. This is a noun, am I right? Crusher is a noun. You cannot use crush as the verb. That's the difficulty with the process. That's why you need to widen your synonyms. You know what synonyms are? Words with similar meaning. Okay? Now, instead of using the word crush, what are other words we can use for it? Maybe smash. Smash, break, what else? Destroy. Verbs like that. So when I describe this, I should write, because I will be writing that now. I should write, in the crusher stage, limestone and clay are smashed together. Now, if you use in the crusher stage, limestone and clay are crushed together, your vocabulary will be deducted. Why? Because crusher, and then you use the word crush, they're almost the same. Crusher, crush. Although the other one is a noun, the other one is a verb, but they still belong to the same family. Crush. Clear? So again, make use of another terminology for your verbs. In the crusher stage, limestone and clay are smashed together into pieces to produce. Okay, for powder, you just have to use powder, okay? Because there's no other name for it. Other terminology for that. Okay, to produce powder. Now, when you also describe the stages, each stage must show connection to one another. What do I mean? During the crusher stage, you should not describe it like it is independent. It should be dependent to the other stages. You cannot say, alright, in the crusher stage, limestone and clay are crushed together. In the mixer, they are being mixed. In the rotating heater, heat is being used to rotate them. And then in the grinder, blah, blah, blah. If you notice, the description is not very connected to one another. So how should you do it? In the crusher stage, limestone and clay are smashed together, okay, into pieces, of course, into pieces to produce powder. And this powder will then be delivered or transferred to the mixer stage. What will happen during the mixer stage? Of course, you cannot use the same word like mix. Use again other verbs for it. Again, and the powder will then be transferred to the mixer to what?
Combine.
To combine, okay? To combine any particles or substance, all right? Then it will go through the rotating heater where heat is used. Of course, there's no other term for heat. You cannot say hot. No, not hot, but heat. It will then go through the rotating heater where heat is used to what? To purify. Okay, to purify the powder, which will then go through the next stage in the grinder where the, let's say, the powderized, okay, the powderized substance is not grinded, use another verb for it, is refined. Okay, refined. Again, grinded should be refined. Now, refined would mean like, okay, we should. If I am in the grinder stage, I need to make sure that the powder is really free from any rocks. Okay. But have you touched a cement? I mean the powder, not the cement. Like for example, this one. Okay, I don't know if this is made of cement. I'm not sure. But anyway, the powder itself. Have you seen and touched a powder, a cement powder? Others are saying no. Others are saying yes. Yeah, it has to be pure. It has to be refined. No rocks should be seen in there. Otherwise, it cannot pass standards. Okay? So that is what the grinder is doing. In the grinder, the powder will be refined so as to produce the last product, which is cement. Okay. This cement will then be packed or bagged, ready for distribution. That's it. Now, in the concrete production, okay, we now proceed to the concrete production. Cement is used, which is only 15% of the entire ingredients, with water containing 10%, gravel 50%, and sand at 25%. They then go through the concrete mixer. Okay? What is going to happen here? Just to mix? Of course, yeah, they are going to mix. But yeah, what do you think? Yeah, what do you think is happening here?
Just
It will then, okay, these ingredients will then go through the concrete mixer, ready for
Use.
ready for to what is it to you may use combine, but other words for combine. Give me other synonym for combine. To put together. Put together, what else? To fuse. Okay, this one. To fuse. Another term for mix or combine is to fuse together. Like the fusion thing, fusion, two becoming one, fusion. But this time again, to fuse all the ingredients together, ready for use. That's it. And that is the end of the process. Clear? Now, would you still like to do a process diagram? Yeah. If I find it difficult, I mean, I don't find it difficult that much, but I find it very annoying. It's eating most of my time because I need to analyze what word should I use for this. Oh my goodness, synonyms here again. And what is the right word for this? I cannot just say use here, for example, the crushing. I cannot use the term squeeze because it's not squeezing, it is just smashing. To squeeze is, for example, let's say this one, if I squeeze this, of course I cannot do it now, I'm not Superman or whatever. Like flatten, okay? Imagine it's being squeezed, okay? But it's not destroyed, it's just being squeezed. Okay, the same with, let's say, plastic bottles in a garbage facility, they squeeze. But to smash is to really break them into pieces, okay? Have you tried squeezing something? Yes or no? Like a product and then you squeeze them to just come up with like a very tiny object. Instead of having this, you squeeze, that's squeezing. But smashing is really destroying this object, okay? And that is what we are doing here. In the crusher stage, we smash. Okay? We smash, we do not just squeeze, okay? Now, we only have around 14 minutes, all right? So what you need to do is to answer that again in advance, and then on Thursday, you have to proceed to your respective partners to discuss, and the other partner will then present maybe after 10 or 15 minutes, okay? So I'm expecting that, what is your name again? Nandine? Who spoke a while ago from the two of you? So do you Nandine and then Chandman? Chablan?
Odon Jorgal.
Odon Jargal?